Hi everybody, thanks for joining us for Northern Ag TV. I'm Coulter Brown. Well, the USDA said that this year the U.S. produced 9% more wheat, but in Montana, that's a different story. Wheat production down 7% this year. It was a challenging year in a lot of ways. Winter wheat production actually higher, up 7%. That's thanks to 150,000 more harvested acres, and yields coming in at 50 bushels an acre. That was just 1 bushel below last year's record high yield. Now for spring wheat, we actually saw production down 23%. That's due to 250,000 less acres being planted and average yields coming in 13% below last year at 26 bushels an acre. Now a lot more durum did get planted this year, but average yields of only 23 bushels brought production down 5%. Barley yields at 51 bushels an acre are actually above last year, but a sharp drop in acres still brought production down by 28%. Well, the Montana Wheat and Barley Committee worked with the National Ag Statistics Service to conduct their annual variety survey. That survey clearly showed the impact that wheat stem sawfly is having on Montana's grain industry. An annual loss of $66 million due to sawfly. That's because a quarter of growers said they've lost nearly 6 to 10% of their crop to wheat stem sawfly. Now, growers have responded to that by planting more solid stem varieties. MSU hard red winter wheat variety Bobcat jumped to the #1 spot, accounting for 21.5% of seeded acres. And for spring wheat, Dagmar, which does have high resistance to sawfly, overtook long-standing Vita as the top spring wheat variety. Well, the Montana grain growers held their Grains of Wisdom meeting in Lewistown last week, hearing from producers and sharing some information. Policy Director Kera Birkeland told me that the Farm Bill, which did expire this week, was top of mind for growers. And she said grain growers leadership has been talking with the Senate Ag Committee about the importance of a new modernized Farm Bill.
Allison actually was able to put together for the Montana Grain Growers Association a meeting with Senator Bozeman just last week. And Senator Bozeman said, we need more farm in the Farm Bill, and that's what we as a Congress need to work towards. And there's a lot of debate whether we want a disaster bill right now or if we want to just get a Farm Bill passed right now. And he wants farmers to have the money that they need by the end of this fiscal year. That could be a great blessing for a lot of our producers across the state.
And after a disappointing year for wheat growers from both a production and market standpoint, I asked Kera, how are farmers feeling as they look back on the 2024 crop?
It somewhat depends on how diverse they were, right? Did they just do 100% wheat or just barley? Did they have some canola or pulse crops in there? I think that changes how they're feeling about how great the year was for them. For some of them, it's been a very hard year. And even those that had a good year because they diversified their crops, they're still having a tough time. And I think that's what we really need to make sure is we want to be optimistic, but these are hard times. You can point to so many different things that really have hamstringed some of our producers' ability to really grow and prosper.
And before we take a break, I just want to say that our thoughts and prayers are certainly with the communities in northern Wyoming battling the elk fire in the Bighorn Mountains near Dayton. It blew up by more than 50% in 24 hours, over 50,000 acres burned. It's been a tough situation. I know we all just can't wait to see some snowflakes and put an end to this brutal fire season. Be sure to tune into the next Northern Ag TV report, and you'll hear Andy Schwab talking with Wyoming Governor Mark Gordon for a status update on the fires. Stay with us. We'll be right back for the markets.
From the beginning, we've worked closely with farmers. BNSF's ties to the agricultural community go back 175 years. Together, we've innovated to make the U.S. agriculture supply chain one of the most efficient and productive in the world. Our strong relationship powers BNSF still today and helps us move the nation like no one else can. At BNSF, we move the nation for you.
Well, Wednesday was as positive a day as the cattle markets have seen in some time. $2 to $4 increases for the live and feeder cattle futures. On Thursday, though, we did see contracts kind of slip lower. Nothing too surprising there, a little bit of profit taking. It's a good thing to be able to see this amount of strength in the market as the fall calf run is picking up steam. Now in the cash-fed cattle trade, it's looking like this could be another week of higher prices. The market has been slow to develop, but live sales starting to look $1 higher from $186 to $187. Early dress trade up 5 to 6 from $295 to $300. Looking at some of our recent calf sales at Lemon Livestock this week, those real light 3-weight steers were bringing $347 to $360, 4-weights $326 to $349, and some light 5-weight steers in the $320s. For the yearling steers in Torrington, 7-weights were bringing $252 to $261, 8-weight steers $244 to $252, and the 9-weight selling from $236 to $239. Not unsurprisingly, the wheat market was lower Thursday after gaining more than 40 cents in 3 days. Nothing to get disappointed about there, as those big increases do create some profit taking. The market didn't lose much ground though, and we're still talking the highest wheat prices since the 4th of July. Russian strikes on the port of Odessa, drought in both Ukraine and Russia, and frost damage in Australia did aid the rally. December winter wheat closed at $6.11 and spring wheat at $6.46. Well, thanks for joining us here for Northern Ag TV. Have a great Friday.